She expected an inheritance from my late wife. My mother-in-law, Marianne, showed up at my door 4 days after the funeral dressed head to toe in black Prada and clutching a crocodile handbag that probably cost more than my car. She didn't knock, just rang the bell, then walked past me like she owned the place. Her eyes swept over the living room like she was inspecting inventory. "Where's the jewelry box?" she asked, lifting a framed photo of me and Claire from our honeymoon. Claire promised me her sapphire ring years ago. I blinked at her. My wife had been gone less than a week. I was still waking up every morning, half expecting her to be beside me. "Marianne," I said slowly, "I just buried your daughter. Can we not do this right now?" She sighed dramatically, setting the photo down. "Oh, sweetie, I know you're grieving, but Claire and I discussed this before she got sick. She wanted me to have all the family heirlooms." That was complete nonsense. Claire barely tolerated her mother. Marianne had walked out on Claire and her dad when Claire was 9 to marry a hedge fund manager in Miami, a man who later left her for a Pilates instructor and took everything with him. Claire hadn't spoken to her again until we got engaged, and even then, only out of obligation. "I don't remember her mentioning that," I said. The fake sympathy melted off her face like wax. "Well," she said, "legally as her mother, I'm entitled to half her estate. We can settle this amicably, or I can take you to court." I almost laughed. Claire had been prepared for this moment since the day she got her diagnosis. She'd told me flat out that her mother would swoop in the second she was gone. "Actually," I said, walking over to Claire's desk, "Claire anticipated you might say that. She left something for you." I pulled out a sealed envelope labeled "For Mother" in her handwriting. Inside was a notarized letter dated just 3 weeks before she died. I read aloud, "To my mother, Marianne Lewis. Due to your absence from my life and your repeated attempts to manipulate me and others for personal gain, I am explicitly stating that you will receive nothing from my estate upon my death. All assets, property, and belongings are to remain with my husband. This is my final and irrevocable decision. Claire Elizabeth Lewis." Marianne's mouth fell open. "This isn't legally binding," she snapped. "I'll contest it." "You can try," I said. "But Claire also documented every single time you asked her for money in the last 10 years. The texts, the emails, the voicemails where you threatened to cut her off for good if she didn't help you. Her attorney has copies of everything." Her face turned a deep red. "You turned her against me." "No," I said quietly. "You did that yourself when you chose a rich husband over your daughter." She grabbed her purse, trembling with rage. "This isn't over," she hissed. "I know people. I'll make sure you pay for this." "Good luck," I said. Claire's lawyer, therapist, and doctor all signed off on her will. She was completely lucid when she wrote it. 2 weeks later, her lawyer called mine. Apparently, Marianne had been telling everyone in town that I'd manipulated a dying woman and stolen her inheritance. She even went on Facebook and called me a gold digger. That's when I decided to post Claire's letter publicly, her exact words, signature and all. Since some people are spreading lies about my late wife's final wishes, here's the truth straight from her. The internet did its thing. Comments poured in. Turns out half the town remembered when Marianne skipped out on Claire's school tuition to take a cruise. Old friends started sharing their own stories, how she borrowed money and never paid it back, how she lied about her finances to get sympathy. The next day, Marianne's sister, Elaine, called me. "You need to take that post down," she said. "Marianne's getting threats." "Maybe she should have thought of that before she accused me of fraud," I said. "She's family," Elaine pleaded. "Claire would want you to forgive her." I looked at the framed photo of Claire on our mantle. "Claire wrote a letter specifically so her mother couldn't get anything," I said. "I think her feelings were pretty clear." 3 months later, Marianne's lawyer dropped her case. Fighting a will takes money, and she didn't have any. Last I heard, she was living with Elaine and telling anyone who'd listen that her evil son-in-law ruined her life. I just smiled when I heard that. Claire always said her mother would write her own downfall someday. Turns out she was right.